Discipline and disciple come from the same root, at least in English. And I don't think that's an accident, especially for those who would call themselves disciples, followers, learners of Jesus. Discipline is a necessary piece of their life. Jesus says as much when he says that you must take up your cross and follow him, denying yourself the whole way. But even if you're not a Christian, discipline can make you wise. Discipline is the ability to take the things that you learn and press them down deep into your soul. To, by repetition and challenge and struggle, make them the things that you rely upon. The way Steinman says it in his commentary is wisdom is not all acquired at once. It requires a lifelong process of learning and contemplation. To accomplish this, one needs discipline. Most often, this word signifies correction, the intervention of some authority to turn one from harmful, self-destructive ways and sins. This may be a verbal warning, or a corporal punishment, or some intervention of God into one's life. In other words, discipline comes from an external force forcing you to implement what you know. Now, that's pretty hard to manufacture in a lot of cases because, first of all, our sinful nature fights against it. But if you can find a way to put discipline into your life, you'll find amazing benefits. The scriptures give us spiritual disciplines, things like prayer, worship, fasting, Sabbath, all these sorts of things that force us into positions that we would rather not be in, and yet they teach us and implement into us amazing biblical truths. It also says, though, that discipline may also come from within oneself, a form of self-correcting thought. And since discipline is never meant simply as a venting of an authority's anger, but as a teaching and guiding in the way of life, the word for discipline in the Proverbs can simply take on the meaning of instruction. And so here's what this means for you. If you're going to be wise, you need to subject yourself to someone else's authority and teaching. And maybe that's me. I suppose you're watching this video and this one's getting longer than the other 2 or 3 minute episodes. There's some discipline in that, forcing yourself to come back and listen every day. Maybe there's discipline in listening to this podcast or video cast at 1 times speed rather than 1.5 or 2 times speed, to force yourself to slow down and really think about what I'm saying. Maybe it's the practice of writing something down in a place you can see it so that you can practice it. Maybe it's moving something out of your life so you have the time to implement these things into who you are. In any case, you're not going to get wisdom without struggle. You don't become a wise person by sitting in a classroom. You become a wise person by going through difficult situations. That's why it tends to be that older people have more wisdom than younger people. Life beats them up. They realize which of those truths were actually worth listening to. So if you're older than me, don't listen to me because I'm younger than you. Listen to me because I'm speaking from a man who is far older or wiser than any of us. And if you are younger than me, maybe you can learn something from me. Not because I'm so great, but because God has made me suffer before. And in suffering, I've found wisdom. Not as much as I would like, not as much as God would like, but I'm growing by suffering. Can you bring suffering into your life to make these things more real? I'm not sure what that looks like for you, but that is how to grow up.